Professor Phelan.
third-year student at Queen's University. Over the past month and a half, myself and a team of hardworking individuals have taken an in-depth look into the perceptions of Queen's students in the Kingston community. Throughout this film, we will take you through an overview of the situation that exists, some potential reasons, and the steps towards change. We hope that this film will provide you with some perspective that will motivate you to make some change yourself. First, let's take a look at the current situation.
I will just say this. During homecoming, it was perfectly, I put up with a lot of shenanigans. And I thought, great, they got it out of their system, it's homecoming, it's a big party. But the weekends following that, I had a fight in here at least one night, if not 2 out of the 3 nights.
Sometimes, well, students at this age, they will go out, have a drink or two, and sometimes they get a little too rowdy, right? And
to class without seeing a cruiser or two.
Well, I live near campus, so I hear, especially in the warmer months, noise late at night, even on weeknights. And it's not just restricted to the student living area. Students coming back from the bars are noisy and inconsiderate, right, yelling and screaming in the streets at 2 in the morning. You know, I hear it.
There are incidents that I don't think Queen students recognize as being as significant as they are to the townspeople. I've received the calls from Town Gown, I've received the calls from the police, I've received the calls from Kingston residents complaining about someone who got in trouble because they were wearing a Commerce jacket, and of course it came to me. And those are really difficult situations because the person who's making that call has already jumped to a conclusion.
Too many in them, well, quite often, and cause a bit of a ruckus. Queen students act like they rule Kingston. Stuck up, cocky.
It looks like Queen students have created quite a mess for themselves. There are many possible explanations for this kind of irresponsible and sometimes even destructive behavior. Let's take a look at a few of those reasons.
Mostly peer pressure and laissez-faire attitude from the leadership.
I think it stems a lot from the fact that Queen students tend to not really take into regard that, you know, we're not the only ones living in Kingston. You see a lot of the behavior that Queen students demonstrate around the bars and the hub especially, with, you know, disregard for the people who actually live here, that sort of thing. Stuff like homecoming, where we're causing a huge, like, ruckus, for lack of a better term, I guess. And not really taking into account, you know, just the feelings of the people who actually live in Kingston.
It's not that big a city, and if you've got a daily newspaper And once they catch onto a news item, they will run with it, and I think it gets a little exaggerated to a certain degree. So I think it's blown out of proportion a little bit. One thing I don't think Queen's students see is they're detached from Kingston. They come here, it's like going on an extended vacation where you get to stay in a certain place, but it's never really your home. But it is home for a lot of people, and I guess I would count myself as one of those people. So I think it does. There's a certain symbolism there. Not so much that, you know, people smash bottles or smash cars or something like that. Mm-hmm. Those are people, everyone would agree, are, you know, that's a criminal act, and I mean, most students don't condone that. I think it's the attitude after that that probably bothers Kingston residents a little bit more. Saying, well, we don't care. It's not our home. Certain mass mentality that kicks in because you are now with 10,000 other people. It's a growing time in your life. You do feel liberated. Socioeconomically, Kingston is very different from Queen's University and the students who come here. Kingston is a real town with an upper and lower class, and there is certainly a more disadvantaged part of the city, and most of our students aren't from that socioeconomic class, and there is that divide.
Figure there's so many of them that strength in numbers.
They get an attitude and then they don't want to let go of it. Yeah. Once they've had their party and they've been able to get away with what they've gotten away with, it's like, who cares anymore? So, and it's unfortunate.
And I think it comes back to the whole homecoming and Aberdeen Street situation. I think that's what gives Queens, you know, in essence, a bit of notoriety here in Kingston. That the blood pressure, so to speak, goes up as we roll towards homecoming. And I think a lot of people are having a hard time dealing with the fact that it's costing the city of Kingston anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 to police this event, and that comes directly out of the taxpayer's pocket. And so that's probably the biggest issue that I see on an ongoing basis, is that cost associated with that versus actually students having a party and participating. A lot of people feel they should be moved to Richardson Stadium and that Queens should absorb the cost and the whole responsibility for that particular event.
Unfortunately, there are a small group of students that misbehave, and unfortunately for press and for the press and for community members, no one is going to talk about the good things that student does.
As you can see, this is a deep-rooted and complex issue. Finding a solution will not be easy. Here are some opinions of what needs to be changed.
Maybe Queen students could make themselves more of a part of the community, or their parents could take away their bank accounts.
I think every effort that try to bring the community's perspective to students or vice versa is great. We need to stop finger pointing.
Yeah.
You know, when there's a problem in the community and that's bigger than Queens or bigger than AMS, we cannot isolate and saying, you know what, Queens, that's your problem, you go fix it. We're standing up here and we're going to make sure that you fix it. Yeah. Right? You need to be more collegial and say that, hey, there's a problem, let's come together and fix it together. Right? And I think that mentality needs to be changed in both the student side and community side. I think an important message to send out is, you know what, Queen students do care about the community, majority of them, and a lot of them choose to spend their time volunteering.
I think we have to continue to try and put more of our students into the community. Get more Queen students on the editorial board of the Week Standard. It's one of those things that maybe if you just leave it alone, it'll solve itself. I know that doesn't sound like a terribly responsible thing to say, but everyone focuses on it, and I wish to God there wouldn't be headlines in the Whig a month before bracing everybody for this, because all it does is throw fuel on the fire. I just think there's just too much of a magnifying glass on it right now. Queens is only building leaders for tomorrow if the people they're building want to become leaders.
There are many possible paths towards change, but in the end, it is up to the individual to step up, become a leader, and make a difference out there.
I can change the world with my own two hands, make it a better place with my own two hands, make it a kinder place.